Hello guys, thank you for joining me today. We are going to review Tarot of the Divine, the deck and the book. This is by Yoshitani, and it is inspired by deities, folklore, fairy tales from around the world. I am familiar with this illustrator's work, I'm very fond of it, and so I wanted this to be my first unboxing and walkthrough. Now, this particular tarot deck came in this gilded box. And of course, I have the companion book as well, which is beautifully illustrated. And it has a little story about each of the myths and each of the legends that the card deck inspired. And the art is absolutely legendary. Yoshi's work is so inspiring. There is a simplicity to it, but there's also a deep elegance. The colors are gorgeous. You see lots of beautiful teals and oranges throughout. It is just a beautifully illustrated book, multicultural, which is lovely. There's just enough information on each myth to be interesting without so much that you're getting lost. Really, really gorgeous. For many different cultures, many different peoples, and it is, like I said, it is gorgeous. It is a hardbound book. The suggested retail price on this book is $18 US or $24 Canadian, and it's by 10 Speed Press by Yoshitani. But we're going to set that aside for now and look at our deck. I have literally never opened this before, but I was, like I said, I'm aware of this particular artist. It is a hinge deck. I like hinge boxes for a couple of reasons. I think that it's nice to just open it up like a book. I enjoy that, but hinge boxes are the most expensive type of box that you can get for packaging. I just think it's an elegant touch. And of course, we have a booklet with it. Welcome, listener, seeker, speaker. A collection of cards, the tarot uses visual symbolism as a gateway between the subconscious mind and the conscious one. And I certainly say that quite a lot. Tarot of the Divine uses deities, folklore, fairy tales, myths, and legends from around the world to represent the different themes in a traditional tarot deck. This deck was created as homage to the stories we have told one another across cultures and throughout history. While each story is unique to a specific time and place, every culture has stories of bright young adventurers, forbidden doors, or promised lands. In this way, the Tarot of the Divine fosters appreciation of our differences and of the truth in our similarities. A number of these stories will be familiar to Western audiences, but many will be new. Some are short and sweet, while others are pieces of larger epics. This guidebook lists the name of each tale and its country of origin, offering a small window into other cultures. Be sure to check out the accompanying book, Beneath the Moon, for a full telling of each story. The book is giving us a very quick rundown of 3-card spread, 1-card spread, upright and reversed meanings, 5-card spread. We have, according to this, the cups, the coins, which they substituted for pentacles, swords, and wands. We did go traditional numbering, so we go ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, page, knight, queen, king. It's a very basic but lovely book. It is paperback and done in color, which is nice. So let's pull out the cards themselves. They have a ribbon. I always appreciate that in a deep box, and they are bound in plastic. They have sort of a plasticized linen feel, and they are traditional tarot card size, so they are 70 millimeters by 120 millimeters. Very nice box. Printed in China, of course, as the majority of tarot cards are. So the feeling is very slippery. So I would probably stick to a very basic shuffle when I shuffle these, but we're going to go through them card by card. So first card, the Ten of Wands. Next card, the Empress. And then the Hanged Man. So interesting that we have two major arcana cards in this. So this is going to be our need to know. This is going to be our need to let go. And this is going to be our outcome. So the Ten of Wands generally represents burden. It represents being pulled in many, many different directions at once. Typically in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it is a person carrying a bindle or a large amount of sticks. And here we have a tree of life with beautiful spider orchids growing out of a skull. In terms of the card itself, need to know, we have the Timbo tree, which is a Paraguay Guarani legend. And the Ten of Wands represents taking on too much and refusing to accept help. When Saigua's daughter went missing, he searched alone in vain. A Timbo tree grew from his ear when he died, bearing the fruits he labored for but was unable to enjoy. So upright, we have overwhelm, stress, obligation, refusing aid, and duty, the crushing weight of responsibility. So that is what you need to know. There is help out there if you are willing to take it. And if you aren't willing to take it, you are going to suffer more greatly because you have not accepted the help that is available to you. You can't let your pride interfere with delegating responsibility in your household and sharing the burden at work. So it's important for you to know that you're only one person. There's only so much you can do, and you want to make sure that you take advantage so that you don't burn out, so that you are there to serve others, so that you're there to bring the best you have to offer with your gifts to the world and not harbor resentment because you're trying to do it all. Need to let go. Now, this is a major arcana card. So this is a major karmic influence for you if you are listening. And this is Our Lady of Guadalupe. And the Empress is a loving mother. And she is a creator, and she is, in some ways, the earth. But as much as she cares for her children and she protects and nurtures those around us, she can also sometimes be a nag and can be smothering and can have a particular idea of how life should be and how her children's lives should be. And when her children don't conform to that, she can become angry and feel cold and not be supportive because she thinks she knows best the correct path for her children's lives. And the likely outcome, again, we have a major arcana. We have the upright Hanged Man. So in this, the Hanged Man is Sleeping Beauty, and it is an Italian fairy tale. So the Hanged Man, the outcome is you have a great deal of burden, and you have perhaps somebody or something, a project in your life that you are nurturing, but it is becoming overwhelming to you. And if you do not share in that burden with someone else, you are going to find yourself shut down in a forcible way. You may find yourself exhausted. You may find yourself unable to care for your responsibilities and nurture your loved ones unless you take that help that's available to you. And you will end up having to be forced to stop and take a rest. And I think this is so important in motherhood, but also in giving birth to creative projects. It's important when you have so many responsibilities, like if you are a solo entrepreneur, that you take any help that is available to you legitimately so that you are not reaching that level of overwhelm. Because all solo small entrepreneurs, they have to wear many different hats. And if you take the help that's offered, you will actually ultimately be more productive in the long run, and you will avoid the outcome of having to take that forced rest, that forced period for reflection, which can perhaps allow you the opportunity to look into ways that you can reduce your responsibility and burden so that you can nurture things to your fullest extent and allow them to grow in the fullness of their intention and the fullness of their contribution to Earth. I am Nicole from Grey Rose Games. I hope that you enjoyed this video review. The Tarot of the Divine deck and guidebook. I liked it very much. I think it's beautiful. It's a really, really pretty design. I can't get over how beautiful it is. I love the book. I love the cards in their mythologies. I like seeing the areas in which they do have a very similar one-to-one correspondence to the Rider-Waite-Smith lexicon, but there are some ways that it's very different. And if you're an experienced reader, that shouldn't slow you down too much because you know what they're getting at. But if you're an inexperienced reader, I do think that some of them are a little hard to grasp if you're trying to specifically learn the Rider-Waite-Smith system. The only thing that I would say is negative, and this is just because I am not a profoundly gifted shuffler, I find them a little slippery to work with. I'm hoping that with time that perhaps some of this patina, this gloss factor dies down a little bit and they become a little bit easier to shuffle. But that's just my lack of skill more than the cards specifically. They're just a little shiny. And I've always had trouble because my hands are not super thick trying to shuffle any way other than this. Basically, this is the only way that I can shuffle cards because they generally are too big for my hands. So I hope you found that helpful. I love this deck. I wanted to review it. I had wanted this deck for so long. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the book. I can't wait to get a deep dive into it. I think Yoshitani is an incredibly talented artist. I'm very honored to have a piece of the work that was produced by this artist. I really admire their illustrations and their creativity, and I love the aspect of multiculturalism that comes through in this deck. Great deck. There will be links in the description if you want to pick up this deck for yourself. I like it. I think it's a win. Definitely beautiful. And this is why I chose this particular deck as my first deck review for my YouTube channel, because I felt like this was such a beautiful deck, and I have many, many more decks to review, but this one I thought would be first because I love it. So I'm going to let those cards slip back into their little sleepy nest. Nice packaging, nice quality, beautiful imagery, just a little bit slippery for me personally. Also, I think you should definitely pick up the book. The book is great. Very beautiful. And you can see the detail because the artwork is so much larger, which I really, really enjoy, being able to see the detail of the art. So I would say that this is all digital based art, but it is rendered in such a way to appear to be painted. But if I was to guess without knowing, this is probably digital. Anyway, this is YouTube, you guys, so you know what I'm going to ask. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Until I see you next time, I hope that you have an absolutely blessed day. Thanks, guys.